Good health to everybody who listen me. I will talk on this lecture about Mellin-Barnes integrals again. This object, which we discussed in previous my lecture, is very general, and it includes practically all mathematical functions which people use. In my previous lecture, I gave definition these Mellin-Barnes integrals and explained why and how to work with them. Right now, I shortly repeat these aspects and present new one. So, these integrals is defined by the Mellin-Barnes integral when we have integration by contour. For simplicity, I took here vertical line, which parallel to imaginary axis. And inside of this integral, we have ratio of products, gamma functions, and here you see linear combinations with respect S, and here alpha k positive, symbolical, maybe integer. If it is 1, for example, we come to Meyer G function. And here also positive, arbitrary, symbolical values. I mentioned such inequalities here. And we have restrictions that this should be positive in sense gamma function from a positive value does not have poles. And the same here. It should be argument positive. If we take S moving by vertical line. And history of these integrals started from work of Pincherle, and then Mellin and Barnes. Mellin introduced Mellin transform, which is equivalent of Laplace of Mellin Fourier transform. I mentioned about this in previous lecture. Dixon Ferrar also studied, and at last in 40s years, Meyer introduced Meyer-G function. And in last year, in last my lecture, I give list of particular cases of this function. It includes more than 100 functions which has names like elementary functions, arctan, logarithm, exponential, or Bessel, special functions like Bessel, Chebyshev, Gauss, and other one. And inconvenience of definitions functions which was based on this Mellin-Barnes integral and has names FoxH and Meyer G function, is evidently, if you look on construction gammas, which looks very similar to those which Slater, which was used for Mellin-Barnes integral, we see a strange situation. Like here we have me terms, here we have continuation, this set, and with b GT, like 1 minus b GT. It is some kind craziness and gives very inconvenience in studying and practical work with these functions. Here I shortly demonstrated situation. Now, for example, if we take this set coefficients, we see a list and then continuation, the same list here, but with minus. No, it's okay. But if we look on parameter b, you see beginning normal, looks normally, and then 1 minus b. And I suggested to return back to fundamental definition which was met in articles of Dixon, Ferrari, and this definition includes A, B, C, D. No, here I show only component with two, this function, two sets. So definition include A, B, C, D, and length capital A, capital B, capital C, capital D, and alpha, beta, gamma, delta, it is coefficients. And it is like the same like in FoxH, but produce a lot of important, more easy, usable details. Believe me, because I have experience with something like started from 1970. I started to work with this function, or before even. And here we will get a more powerful set of opportunities if we make such definition, at least for our resource functions for repository. And I will talk how this definition converted allow to write formulas in more easy visible format. Before continuation talk, I will mention that Tigran Ishkhanyan, who is working in Wolfram Research and who implemented this function FoxH, made talk about function FoxH function. I shortly start his talk. Sorry. Talking. Maybe. No, in any case, I will not continue, but you can listen his report about FoxH function using this link. Okay, let me return back to my file. Okay, I gave name this function SlaterH function, and similar function I called SlaterG. It was described in my first book, published in 1978 and translated 5 years later. Here, about this notebook, about this book, I talked at previous lecture, and you already saw this product for SlaterH, and for MairG, we find this definition in our documentation in Mathematica. And again, we see here this me plus 1q, and here we don't have such effect. And this effect, like 1 minus set parameters, also absent. In this talk, I can mention that we have conversions one function to other. For example, SlaterH to FoxH and back. And I show rules which allow to do this. Now, this is exact formulas, exact formula. And here, what happening with gammas if we made this set of changes, and this Fox and SlaterH functions have main characteristics I mentioned in previous my talk. They looks like these sums, which converts to such sums. And it's important to have restriction on argument. No, in Mathematica, we always have argument between minus pi and pi, including pi. But in theoretical literature, we see such type restrictions, and we have can be written this restriction in form of Slater. Alpha, it is from Dixon Ferrari. It has, I have it in this notebook. Okay, below I present sets of examples for Mellin-Barnes integrals, and as I mentioned in my previous talk, we have about 100 plus cases when we can convert functions into MairG form. Here, I used resource function, but we have also MairG reduce which is a rather broken and weak function and should be replaced by functionality from this new function. I will repeat evaluation on your eyes, and you see it's a loading package and takes time. Loading package in a resource function. Let me show what we have. Loading. It's interesting. Oh, talks something. But in any case, you see, we have already representations. And then we need to make table form. Try to make stable form. Oh, made. Okay. So we have function and then mere G form. And the same here, functions and so on. You already saw this operation in my previous talk. Then I can make a conditional expression goes to A, and we have only mere G without conditions, and similar evaluations allow to make, for example, in Mellin-Barnes representation. So each of these functions representable through these Mellin-Barnes integrals. And then we can convert this into sums. Here I show example how it works for logarithmic cases. It's interesting to see something new in this area. Okay, I used FoxH reduce. Again, we take previous functions and additionally Mittag-Leffler function and some others like Kummer function 1f1, and as a result we get FoxH representation through FoxH function. We can write in such format also. Here I added new construction, which is important also in application to risk potential. Basically, K, it is a kernel of so-called K transform, Meyer transform. Basically, G, it is kernel Hankel transform. So basically, for example, this one, it is kernel fractional integral transform. This function, which I called SlaterH function, has the following main characteristics. And why we have these characteristics and how they influence on everything. Inside of gamma functions, we have, if we look asymptotical aspects of these gamma functions, we find by Stirling formula component like z in power z, exponential in power, exponential function from z. In this case, it is s, from s. and also power function like S in degree eta, some kind. And all these three guys are living inside exponent inside of asymptotic expansions of this product. And these components can exist or can be in degree 0, like disappear. And also can be in degree negative or positive. And these values, if they equal 0 or positive or negative, provides regulation of behavior, these Mellin-Barnes integrals and FoxH, SlaterH functions. You should not forget that inside of this construction for concrete parameters A, B, C, D, and so on, we have more than 100 particular cases of very different kind. You know, for example, we meet the exponential function, we meet the sinus, cosine, Bessel. It is some kind periodical type functions. We meet the functions like piecewise. I show you kernel in fractional derivative or in Riesz transform. No, many different guys live in this house by name SlaterH. Okay, and here I'm started to talk about this more accurately. We can write expansions of each component. No, here, for example, you see this expansion. Oh, sorry, I don't want to open something. We verified this formula here, and then gamma function. This is Stirling formula, and if we have a ratio of two gamma function, it is just asymptotically exponent, not an exponent, power S in degree difference. If A equal B, it is 1. Yes, but if we move at infinity in vertical or opposite direction for real X and Y, we have such behavior, this formula, and if we accurate, it is coming from Stirling formula, and if we make expansions, we, after some exercises, come to the formula which practically useful. But look at here, we don't find component Z in degree Z. Instead, we find component Y in degree IY, but it is restricted component if we have real Y. And so, as a result, in vertical direction, we have exponential term or in main asymptotic expansion and power term. term like y in degree y absent. It makes very special moments in using. But if we have, I applied these Stirling formulas for each of these gammas, and then we have opportunity to build asymptotic for gamma product. We substitute for each gamma main terms here, make such operations, No, for example, as a result, we come to very nice looking main term of this big product. We find in this main term z in the s in degree minus s with coefficient. Coefficient is this one. And also we find exponential term here, something in degree minus s, and find this power term with corresponding coefficients. And if we accurately combine this, like I made in my first book mentioned before, we can build a restriction for conversions of this, which allow to converge this Mellin-Barnes integral. Now, right now, I will go to convolution and Parseval equality of Mellin for Mellin transform. Here we have Mellin transform is from integral, which is convolution for Mellin transform, and we have as a result Mellin transform of each of these. It's easier to understand if here we have, for example, 5 gamma functions. Here we have 3 gamma functions. Not here, sorry. Not inside here. But this F1, it is a result of ovulation Mellin transform of each of these F1 and F2 includes, for example, here 5 gamma functions, here 3 gamma functions together. We have 8 gamma functions or something canceled a little. And then we know 8 gamma functions, which is a result of Mellin transform of something. It means inverse Mellin transform from this result gives value of integral. And here I show how to derive formula if we have F1 and F2 SlaterH functions. I put a tilde on top of one of them, and this one you saw before. Then I made these operations accurately, and what we have the following. No, at first, integral from this expression I evaluate accurately, and integral from this one also done. And at last, where it is, sorry, I lost a little Mellin transform of this one. Example of using. Так. Oh, sorry. Here. Так. In my notebook, I have to find formula. Formula is where it is. Maybe I understood what happened. It's technological problem. Formula, big formula disappeared during some manipulations, but here I gave result example, evaluation of integral from product of two functions. If we have one function equal this one, other function this one, Mellin transform of this, it should be a formula here, where it is. Okay, maybe here. So we have integral from such product, but for concrete values A and beta and gamma. And formula should include arbitrary beta and gamma. It disappeared. It should stay here. It can happen by technological reason because we made too wide screen. No, formula basically here, you see this integral, it is integral Mellin transform from one function, multiply Mellin transform other function, and we have resulting formula. After my lecture, we make reductions of this notebook. In sense, formula will return back. Okay. One more example. We know that if we have, for example, gamma functions, we can make inverse transform from gamma function and get original function, in this case, FoxH, which can be converted into mere SlaterH function. I did not do this yet, but here we have representation. And integral from one FoxH, Mellin transform from FoxH, it is this result because it's inversion from the previous integral. under corresponding conditions. I did not write these conditions here, but below they exist because, as I mentioned, I did not give completely verified and version of this material. And here you see constructions for conditions. I know that Danny is working with this area, and we hope to have soon in Mathematica realized this formula and particular case for Slater, for Meyer's function. Now, below, again, I'm afraid maybe we have problem here or not. Let me show. Do we have problem? No, for now I don't see problem. Так. So, this integral from Mellin, it is inverse Mellin transform from product of Mellin transform of each function. And here I accurately derived this formula, and we have a result, this guy equal to this one. It is more generic function, integral from product of FoxH or SlaterH functions can be represented through FoxH or SlaterH. This formula in such format is new formula. And other new formula which I demonstrate here is the following. Now we have, for example, SlaterH function. It means we have this product. This product. And we can do the following. Oh, I see. It looks like, no, it's not my mistake, but F1. Okay. F2, similar. We can write a product original function as this product and the rest. Now, for example, we have here something like 15, and here 3 multiply on 5. It is 15. In such style, I divide it, and inside of this group, we can take any, not only first in ordering gamma functions. So a lot of representations in such two factors. Yes, and each such representation, it is can be written. It can be written as integral, because here it is gammas which for one function, gammas for other function. We have together original function, and So we can make a lot of integral representations for SlaterH function. It's interesting to evaluate Laplace transform and other integral transforms using these ideas and technology. Okay. Here I should mention that we may talk about compositional structure of classical integral transforms on conference half year ago. And here we have example when we apply Laplace transform to SlaterH function. Now here it is generic formula, which you know from previous generic formula here. Yes, it is huge. But what to do? It's life. Huge formula. Monstrous. So we have integral convolution type from product of two Slater functions. And then again results SlaterH. If one function it is exponential, it means we have Laplace transform from other function equal to something which appeared from this one. And here we have examples of this procedure. I am sorry. Of course, I should not make so long lines here, but we fixed problem to such style which looks more worse than previous one at last moments. Now here we can see formula for Laplace transform. It is again FoxH I wrote here. Equal to this one. Laplace transform of the Slater function, it is this one. And at last, we can tell about particular cases. Cases of Meyer-G function are the cases of FoxH and of SlaterH, of course. And we have very specific case which are very popular for differential equations, who studied differential equations. It is Mittag-Leffler function. If you see, for example, for situation 1, 0 here, no, not here, 0, 1, 1. If you put 1, 1, you get exponential function from right sum. And for this function, we have transform Mellin and Laplace transforms. And here I want to mention effect connected with this coefficient. How to convert FoxH functions into mere G, not only for cases when we have everywhere 1, 1, and so on. Don't forget that we have multiplication formula for gamma function. If we have this product and z, we can write like product with n factors, but here only z. And something like coefficients appeared. So here we have such construction. And if we instead alpha write, for example, 2 divided on 3, then we can change variable integration and get here 2s, new s, different s, and here 3s, here 3s. Then we can, instead of this 3s, write a product of gamma from s using above formula. Here also. And here only 2, because coefficient 2. So what we have? We have many gammas, 6 in numerator and 2 in denominator, instead of this 3 gammas. But each gamma here has coefficient plus or minus s. So this can be used for building FoxH Meyer G function, but how many will be? 3. So sum of 3 Meyer G functions. You can imagine if you write here something like 10 divided on 11, here you get 11 Meyer functions from such components. By this reason, constructions through FoxH more convenient in applications, more compact in applications than Meyer G constructions. Here I evaluated example. You see, here with respect to delta, we have Mellin transform of Mittag-Leffler multiply on this one. With respect by P, we have Laplace transform of this function. And all this, it is FoxH function. And I present verification of such stuff. No, here you see formulas which allow which useful for deriving these operations. Question: how to evaluate this Slater or FoxH function? they can be evaluated through sum of residues in poles, corresponding poles. It is poles which you saw before. S equal to this for function Meyer. This is instead of such construction, we have poles in these points. Then we can evaluate residues, but don't forget that we have coefficient alpha, K. The same we can do for other residues in right poles. And we should make summation by all poles. It is left poles, right poles, infinite sum appeared. And technologically, it looks like this one. We should replace one singular situation value into residues. It is poor formally, but we can do this absolutely accurately and with proofs and everything. But I show how formulas, big formulas appear. No, then we can try to manipulate with these gammas, convert to Pochhammer, and other manipulations can be done successfully only for situations when we have rational values for coefficients, as I mentioned before. Then it is convertible to hypergeometric PFQ functions. No, Meyer G in such style produce such representations. Generically, we have constructions like Slater construction. It is sum of left residues in left poles and sum of residues in right poles. Zero, it is technological aspect in Mathematica. No zero should be. No, this formula I show in previous my lecture. Here I tried a placed material which is not done well, but it can be useful because people started to ask about asymptotics, FoxH, about other moments, and I collected information from my previous research. No, for example, here we have formulas like this one, representable through FoxH. I believe and tried such formula is not working in current FoxH cases. This is for people who wants to go more deeper in this area. Main term asymptotics, main term for example, here, if you go to internet, you find article in Wolfram function site about Meyer G. What is happening? You see number. We have number for formula. And you can find this formula. But you cannot find this formula, and this formula. You cannot find because these formulas appeared later. We stopped to develop visible version Wolfram function site maybe 15 years ago, but I did not stop my own developing. And right now we have partially implemented, but not completely implemented, more advanced versions for Wolfram function site in Mathematica. And if somebody wants, I can present such type additional formulas. We can place for Fox, not for Meyer G, and so on, these formulas, and people can use them. But now I attach portion of my research here in report. I think that next report I can devote to fractional integral differentiation or other questions. No, for example, integral transforms, because everything is under development, and I'm not machine to do so many formulas, in spite that I made already a lot. And I'm too busy with other projects. And of course, my attention devoted to this area to make huge jump in integrate and integral transforms directions in mathematical system in Wolfram language. And also, I want to teach people how to operate with these difficult objects, because myself, I studied 50 years ago, started to work, and it was not easy to follow people who did not care about teaching procedures for young people. Many things I opened myself, recreated, and will recreate in this area. And if somebody wants to work, we have a lot what to do in this area. And all should go to computers. You see how difficult, how horrible formulas are looking. And for example, I have formulas for evaluation arbitrary indefinite integrals from product of arbitrary rational functions in arbitrary degrees. But this needs in Lauricella function, which we still don't have in Mathematica. And I hope we will have Lauricella D function. Now we have only upper F1 function as first step in this direction. And I have many formulas in this area which still not implemented to Mathematica. Thank you for attention. And my lecture is over. Questions? No questions? Thank you.